Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. It's my pleasure to be with you this morning. It is Friday, September 20th, 2024, and we get together most weekday mornings at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and support each of you. Today, we're going to talk about fundability scores. So that's our topic here at the top. But before I get to that, I'm curious, have you ever heard this quote? And it's from a famous philosopher named Aristotle. So hundreds and hundreds of years ago, one of his epiphanies, one of his statements was that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So what does that mean to you? If you could type into the Q&A, the question answer, like a chat box, what does that mean to you? When you see the statement that Aristotle said hundreds of years ago, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. All right, well, Bill gives a good analogy, and I'll paraphrase what I think Bill's suggesting. So a car is composed of a bunch of parts, tires and wheels and bumpers and seats and windshields, lots of parts, a lot of electronics in today's cars even. So if you have all the parts, you have a car that you can drive. You can drive it to school, you can drive it to work, you can drive it on vacation. But if you had just some of the parts, it wouldn't be very valuable, right? Let's say you were missing the four tires. How valuable is that car to you to drive if it doesn't have all the parts? And the parts need to be functioning, of course. So I think that's the point that Aristotle was getting to, and that is incredibly relevant to what you and I do in terms of determining a business's fundability score. So let's talk about that. We're here to help people. There's no doubt about that. Our number one mission is to help people. So we don't want to lose sight of that. But you need to make money. And some of you are doing great, but some of you aren't making money, and that's not good. So we need to reframe how we view who we are and what we do. So we're going to attempt to accomplish that this Friday morning. So making money as a white label partner is easy. It's easy if you focus on what matters. It's really easy to get distracted with all the other things in life, but what we need to do is focus on what matters. So number one, what matters is helping others. We need to focus on helping other people. You'll get what you want. You'll get what you deserve if you first focus on helping others build their financial literacy. We've got so many smart people on here. I see Toily. I see Claude. I mean, these people are so freaking smart, but they sometimes need to dumb it down when they're talking to the average person, because the average person doesn't know what you know. They don't know that there is a formula for funding. You know it. I know it. We teach it, which we'll get to, but the average person doesn't know it. They just get fucking frustrated. I need money. I want money to start or grow a business. But there's not a bank in the world that cares how badly someone wants or needs money. Banks don't care about that. They care about this. Do you have a fundable business? So let's focus on what matters. First of all, let's focus on building financial literacy, and we'll talk specifically how to do that in a moment. Secondly, what matters is helping small businesses get funding. They don't need lip service. They don't need small talk. They need results. But we don't get funding by just talking or wanting or needing. As we've said, we need to qualify. We need to qualify for funding. And it shouldn't be a mystery, especially if we do this, because this is the checklist. This is literally the checklist. You see all the different types of loans from the SBA alone. There's a bunch of loans outside of the SBA realm. We've got SBA microloans, 504 Express, 7A. We're talking up to $5 million. That's the point, 5.5 million here. So the money's out there. We need to focus on building financial literacy in others, and we'll talk specifically how we recommend to do that momentarily. and we have to help people get what they want. We need to solve their problems. If that's your mindset, I help solve problems. Well, what problem do you solve? I create fundable businesses. I create fundable businesses. Think about that for a second. If you're in an elevator, you're at the gas station, you're at a restaurant, someone asks you, hey, Eric, what do you do? I create fundable businesses. Hey, AJ, what is it you're doing now? Oh, I create fundable businesses. You see, that's what we do. All right. Thirdly, what matters is, as we've stated, we have to help these individuals become knowledgeable, understand that funding is accomplished once we're fundable. We have to meet the underwriting criteria, which we teach them and help them with. So what matters is for you is that you help others become fundable. And from that, you can earn a great income. I look at some of you, and so many of you are making more in a month than I made in a full year as a college professor. There's nearly unlimited earning potential of entrepreneurs that can solve other people's problems. And guess what? You and I can. But it's based off the concept that Aristotle taught hundreds of years ago. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Because what I mean by that is there's a lot of people that'll have some of these elements. They have some of these things, but they don't have all of these things. Well, what happens if you have a car with some of the parts? It doesn't fucking run. You can't drive it anywhere, or at least not safely. So we have to help people understand how this works. So let's get into how it, I believe, is best accomplished, because people get confused, they get distracted. Some people have higher learning capacities, some have lower capacities, some have a small attention span. But let's just drill down to one metric. What is your fundability score? If you're looking for funding to start or grow a business, we need to ask them, what is your fundability score? I know it's a loaded question because they don't know, but it's the best way to start the conversation. Let's continue. So we need to focus on what matters, which we covered a list of what matters just a moment ago. We need to help small business owners know their fundability score. If you can start the conversation with that, then everything else can fall in line. Well, what's my fundability score? Or I don't know. Or some people are so self-confident in their ignorance, they'll give you a number. It's 83, and of course the scale is 0 to 6, but it's okay. Just get the conversation started and then we can educate them. If you can master, and this is what it's stating here, if you can master helping people, entrepreneurs, small business owners, understand their fundability score, you'll make crazy money. That's the key. That's the key. We don't need to sell anyone anything. We need to help them understand that you have to be fundable to get business funding, especially larger amounts. And it's most easily capsulized in the term fundability score. What's your fundability score? So let's continue. So every business has a fundability score. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Oh, no, I have a brand new business. That doesn't count. It does. You do have a score. You may not know it, but it counts. Or I've been in business 20 years. That doesn't matter. Well, it does if you care about getting funding. It does. And it's a real simple scale, right? It's on a scale from 0 to 6. But the key is, and it comes back to that Aristotle quote, which is no longer shown, that it takes a 6 out of 6 to be fundable. We need all the pieces on the car. 3 out of 4 tires is not good enough, right? So we need to have 6 out of 6 to be fundable. But it's not some lofty goal. It's not some abstract pursuit. That's what you and I do. You and I help people become businesses become fundable. That's what we do. So this should be a very easy conversation. I talk to so many of you on the phone, and I love the experiences. And some of you are quite chatty, which is fine. But if we can focus the conversation with your prospects on what matters, you're going to be able to convert nearly every one of them because you're helping them solve their problem. But they need to understand that. So, easiest conversation ever. First question is, are you looking for funding to start or grow a business? That's our only qualifying question. That's the only one. It's not how tall are you, how old are you, what color are you, what's your credit score, what's your income? No, none of those. One qualifying question. Are you looking for funding to start or grow a business? Next. If they say yes, then ask them, oh, great, what's your fundability score? Say it with persuasion, say it with emphasis, say it with confidence. Don't mumble around about it. And you know they're going to either give you a bad answer or I don't know. And that's great. That opens the conversation so we can assess them. Let's continue on. So then what would we say? Hey, that's okay. You don't know. I can help you figure out what your fundability score is in 5 minutes. Let's find out. And I think if you're reasonably competent in communicating with people, they'll give you 5 minutes once you got to this point because they're going to be curious. Fundability score, what is that? And we've had separate trainings where we've gone through and we've role played how to ask people these questions, how to refer back to the glossary to expand on it. We've created that 2-minute video to help you. We've had, again, multiple trainings. So if you're not good at doing that assessment, we might need to visit offline. So the bottom line from that is you can earn a great income. And I know different people have different income pursuits. And secondly, that, money's not everything, but money is something, right? Are we able to pay our bills? Are we able to have an emergency fund? Are we able to save for a rainy day? Are we able to fund our retirement? Are we able to buy investments and grow our net worth? We live in a society where money matters. So do you need to be greedy? No, you don't need to be greedy. Make a lot of money and give a lot of money away. Make a lot of money and have charitable pursuits. Make a lot of money and give a lot of money to your church. But we need to be monetizing on your skill set, your knowledge, and your ability to create fundable businesses. So that's what we want to do, is make sure that you know how to calculate a prospect's fundability score. It's easy to do. It's quick to do. And to me, it's a blast. It's fun having the interaction. I had an interaction yesterday that was not so pleasant, to be honest with you. So this gentleman, a prospect, I'll leave his name out of it, he had contacted us, so we weren't like chasing him down, but he just had an edge about him. I mean, and essentially, I'm paraphrasing, not exaggerating, but paraphrasing. Essentially, his mindset is, man, I don't need this. I just need funding. And I know you hear me say this, but this is literally what this guy's saying. And so what can you do? You can be loving and attentive and a good listener and say, well, great. I bet you do have everything in place. But my job is just to take 5 minutes and assess, just to confirm that you have everything in place. And my friend, if you have everything in place, we will go facilitate a loan for you today, up to 5.5 million, if you're as qualified as you say. Fair enough. Give me 5 minutes. Let's calculate your fundability score. Let's just confirm your assumptions that you're ready to go. And if you are, we'll go get you millions of dollars. Fair enough. And he was still pissed off, but he agreed. So we did it. And so I took him through the checklist. And you know what? He had almost none of the items. Almost none of the items. And so as we went through it, it wasn't like me throwing it in his face. It wasn't that at all. It was a real comfortable conversation. You could feel the tension going down. And then by the end of the call, he realized, I'm not fundable. I do need the program. And he sent over his money and he enrolled. So if you can help people understand that this is not some made up list, take the checks off. This is not some made up list. This is what it takes to have a fundable business, to qualify for larger business funding amounts. And this is what we can help you get. So with that being said, let's go to your questions, comments, concerns. We've got a big group today, 419 of you. Cedric, welcome to the call. So Cedric, let me ask you, as one of our newest distribution partners, Cedric, are you, Cedric, comfortable going out and assessing the fundability score of prospects? If not, we need to help you get better. You're smart, you're motivated. There's no lack of intellect or ability. Because if you can find small business owners, ask them if they're looking for money to start or grow a business, follow up with asking them their fundability score, knowing damn well they don't know what that is or what it is, and then you calculate it for them, and then just let them know we can help you. We can help you. Now, what can happen, and that's why I brought up the Aristotle quote earlier. I had a different client yesterday, and he's already signed up, so he's not a prospect. He was a client, and he was a little edgy, and he was just overly trying to diagnose the value of each of the value proposition that we include in the program. And I think it's a great deal. And of course, we're giving them 10,000, which is much more than what you all are charging them to roll anyway. But regardless of those details, we got to make sure that they know that it's the sum. We need to have a car with all the tires, all the wheels, all the working parts for us to drive it. And this is specifically creating a fundable business. All right, so I know a number of you are wanting to set up workshops. We'll be getting caught up today with your email requests. So by the end of the day today, I do expect that we'll have everyone that has requested to set up a workshop. I know I'm pivoting, that's a different conversation. If you've been on our morning Zooms, that makes sense. If not, you can go to 509 Pacific, go over here to the entrepreneurship program, get familiar with what we teach. And this is a great way to bring prospects through without selling them anything, build trust, build relevance, and then that you can enroll them. Ultimately, what we're trying to enroll them in, of course, is your, if I could spell it correct, 4-week funding program. Each of you that's set up as a white label partner, you have an editable agreement that allows clients to enroll in this. You set the pricing both on the front end and the back end. So you're getting paid today when clients enroll, and you're getting paid a performance fee after the clients get funded. So let's go back to questions, comments, concerns. What is it that any of you need help with? Because we have a golden opportunity. The analogy that I use that I've mentioned before, I think it's a valid one. Look at Dave Ramsey. Smart man. I don't care if you agree with his principles or not, but he's successful. He's made hundreds of millions of dollars teaching what? Consumer financial literacy. You and I are out teaching what? Business financial literacy. Right here's the curriculum. We don't hide it. People can come preview it right here. The links, the first three, won't do that for the fourth, but for the first three, it's right there. This is your time to stake your claim for what part of the multi-million-dollar industry of business financial literacy that you want to claim. Claude asked about the workshop. So we'll teach one of our trained instructors. So okay, let's go into workshop. So one workshop means this 4-week curriculum combined. So together, this is called one workshop. We do it via Zoom. It's once a week for 4 weeks, same day of the week, same time of the day, about 30 minutes a piece. We teach very important concepts, and then they have homework where they work with one of our advisors to apply what they've learned. We have about a 91% conversion rate. So if you want to coordinate with us, which doesn't cost you anything, have these workshops, on average, 91% of the people that go through this will enroll over here, which is where you monetize it, because this is providing some of the tools and resources to apply the concepts that we've learned. Claude's asking about us teaching. So we'll teach live all 4 weeks. We'll do the heavy lifting. So really, you're the facilitator, the coordinator. Ideally, you're connecting with key influencers, churches, chambers, co-working group, CPAs, organizations, entities, or people that have a sphere of influence, so we can have a good attendance at the workshop. The workshops don't technically have a minimum, but if you know that 9 out of 10 of the people that participate on average will enroll with you, and you know that you're making on average 11,000 for each conversion, logic says the more people we educate, the better off they are, of course, and the better off you are. But Claude, let me know if I didn't answer your question well enough there. All right, Bill has an interesting question, and let's go to that. As far as dollar amounts, Bill's kind of getting to, well, how much money should, his question more precisely is, how much money should the client be asking for? Well, we have to ask them that, Bill, because it's up to the client. What is their use of funds? That's one of the things that we're going to create. Remember, in a business plan, a good business plan says, well, it also says, how much money do you want? And then secondly, what are you going to use it for? I'm going to say this, and I bet you I'll regret saying this, but I'll say it just because Bill prompted me to. We, meaning I think you and I, we would rather do big deals than small deals because it's about the same amount of work. So let's say someone comes to us, meaning you and I, and they want some piddly amount. I want 100,000 or I want 250,000. Sure, we can do that. But if they could really use more, man, it'd be much better off to go get 500,000 or 1 million. Why? Because the money's out there. The lenders are willing to loan more than a small amount, number one. So the money's there for the taking. It's about the same amount of work to put everything together. It's like a realtor. If you were a realtor, and I know I'll offend someone with this, but if you're a realtor and you had a choice of 2 target audiences, one group of people looking for low-end houses and another group looking for high-end houses, who would you want to spend your time with? Everyone. I know, everyone. But the high end pays a higher payout, right? Because if someone gets $1 million house and you're making your 6% off of that as a realtor, that's a lot more than 6% of a raggedy shack. So of course we'll help everyone. That's not where I'm going with that. My point is, we want to work with individuals and figure out how much money do they really need, and maybe they're just being conservative. Maybe they would like 1 million instead of 100,000. Well, then let's build the plan to have a fundable business for 1 million instead. So we're not trying to upsell them. It's not like it changed the program or the pricing. It's just literally, it's frankly more worth your and my time. So it's okay if they want to go for a small amount, but we'll encourage them to get to pursue the amount that they really need. All right, so Claude has a follow-up, which is a really good point. And so Claude's no fool. So let's go back over here. Claude's saying, well, wait, Tom, if you already have the first 3 modules online, couldn't someone just go through those 3 modules just on their own? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think what you may be missing, Claude, and it's my fault, not yours, is the value proposition is not just the material of these 3 attached YouTubes. It's not. It's taking the information learned in each week and then applying it to their business. So Claude's question more specifically is, hey, they could just do this, this, and this on their own, right? And then we'll just help them with 4. It won't work that way because they're going to need help implementing what they've learned in each step. And that's what makes our program different. So yes, from a learning perspective, Claude, they could watch the on-demand 3 videos. Absolutely. But what we have to be focused on is working with them between each session to apply what they've learned. Otherwise, we're not going to become fundable. Just by hearing, I don't think that the average person will on their own be able to have a fundability score of 6 out of 6. So yes, we can be real flexible with you, Claude, on how the education is delivered, but they're going to need help. And that's why the model is so successful. All right, with that being said, if you need anything else, just let us know. We'll be back Monday morning for the Zoom. We'll be getting caught up today and over the weekend on all the many requests that you all have had for setting up workshops. If you need to reach us, you see the phone, you see the email, let us know. Our workshop coordinator is off today. A little bit rough timing with the big push we have, but she'll be back Monday. But we'll be moving everything along between now and then. Thanks for your time. See you back Monday morning. Give us a call or email if you need help. Thanks. Bye.